Bienvenidos a Zona Kite, el primer programa de TV dedicado al universo del kitesurf. En Kite en primera persona, revivimos la nota que le hicimos hace un tiempo a Keahidia Boitis. En Viajando con el Viento, conocemos un nuevo destino con el equipo de Duotone Kiteboarding. En InfoKite, te mostramos el tráiler del último viaje del equipo de F1. En Kite School, te mostramos cómo cambiar los pies después de una maniobra en una tabla de surf sin straps. En el clip del día, seguimos viendo los videos más locos del kitesurf local e internacional. Llegó la hora de entrar en la zona donde volar es posible. Esto es Zona Kite.
Muy buenas amigos Zona Kite. Desde aquí de Tarifa, hoy recibimos a uno de los más grandes en la modalidad de olas en el kitesurf, strapless por supuesto. Viene de Australia, es Keahidia Boitis. Tiene un historial y un palmarés impresionante. Nos va a contar muchas cosas sobre él, inclusive nos va a tirar un par de secretos para hacer mejores trucos en el mundo del kitesurf. Vamos a ir con él.
Kitesurfing is a sport that I've really grown to love over the years. Growing up surfing, I've always loved water sports, and when I found kitesurfing, it was great because it basically allowed you to make the most of conditions that aren't really good for anything else. When it's windy and the surf's blown out, you can go and kite, and no, it's something that I've just really come to love. It's a sport that I don't think I could live without, and it's the kind of sport that you can have a really bad day, you can feel down, and you can go out for a session and everything's better, and that's what I really love about kiting.
Hoy en Kite en primera persona, revivimos la nota que le hicimos a Keahidia Boitis, el campeón de la última edición de la Global Kite Sports Association en Torquay, Australia.
I think my first experience kitesurfing was actually at a pretty young age. My dad had a kite school when I was younger, and I remember playing around with a little 1 meter kite on a longboard. But I think my first real experience on a real kite was probably when I was about 11 years old. That was when I was a little bit heavier. I could actually hold down a little bit bigger of a kite, and no, it was really fun. I remember finally having like a proper kite. You could feel the pull, and from there it was a pretty amazing experience. I remember learning to kite and kind of progressing through those early steps, and it's really cool to kind of think about those early days and see how far I've come. I was actually really lucky growing up in a place like Noosa. We have some pretty good conditions, and I had a really good support group when I was younger. My parents were always really supportive of me getting into the sport. They'd drive me to the beach, take me to competitions, and I'm really, really thankful that they put in all that work and supported me through the early days. I had a couple pretty lucky breaks. I actually did a family trip over to Hawaii back in, I think, 2006, and what I didn't know at the time but found out later is Pete Cabrina is actually related to me. He's my third cousin, so we did a trip over there. He was nice enough to give me a couple older kites and put me in touch with the Australian rep, and from there we kind of just started slow, and I think it was a pretty good way in the way they brought me into the sport. He put me in touch with the Australian rep. They gave me a couple kites to begin with and a little bit of travel budget. They'd pay half my travel to go to events, and it was a slow process. I started doing events, I started doing better, and in the end I kind of just progressed and got more and more involved with Cabrina, and it was pretty amazing to have a brand like that in the early days that supported me in a way that they weren't saying, okay, here's all this stuff, but we're going to stick with you, we're going to try and bring you into the sport, and it was a slow process. But yeah, to have people like that and my parents and my friends' parents that really helped kind of push me in the right direction, it was amazing. I think it's really cool to see where kite surfing is right now. It's been a little interesting over the last few years. We have different tours and different things popping up, but I like the way it's going now, where we're having combined strapless freestyle and wave riding tour. I think it's a great way to kind of open up the spots. You can go to a wave spot that may potentially not have the best waves on the day, but you can still go and have a competition. And I think this is a great way to be able to have more competitions and more places to do this. Personally, I really like trying to push the wave riding side, and I think there's still a lot of unexplored territory here to go. For me, I have a lot of fun actually trying to go and chase some of the big crazy slabs, and I think there's a lot of places out there that people don't realize you can actually kite. There's massive slabs, big barrels, and for me I think that's kind of an area that's still pretty unexplored and something that I really want to chase. I think my favorite place for a wave destination would have to be Indonesia. It's a place that I think I've been 5 or 6 years now in a row for kiting, and the cool thing about it is it's a place that in a way it's frustrating, but in a way it's good because you go there, there's actually no wind forecast and there's no way to know if it's for sure going to be windy. You kind of just have to go at the right time of year, and if you're lucky you'll get some of the best conditions for kiting anywhere in the world, and worst case you have really good surf. And I think that's one of my favorite things I've learnt is I like to go to a place where you have a backup option. You can go there for kiting, and being a surfer as well, if there's no wind you can surf, and if there's wind you can kite, and that's kind of something I've really come to love about Indonesia and that area, and it makes it definitely one of my favorite places to go anywhere in the world. For any young people trying to follow in my footsteps or trying to kind of get a foot in kite surfing, I think the biggest thing I found that helped me is try and find a friend or a group of friends on the same level and people that you can push yourself with. There's nothing more motivating than having a good friend that you have like a friendly rivalry against, because there's nothing more competitive than trying to beat your best friend. I think I was lucky in the early days. I had a couple friends that were also really into kiting, and it really pushes you to want to try harder to bring that level up, and that's the biggest thing. And then the next step I'd say is start on a small level, try and do local competitions, try and go and get a feel for that competitive experience, but at a smaller level so you can bring yourself up to it. And for me, I think that's what really got me going. I had some good friends that kited. We had a lot of local events in Australia where you could go and hang out and be with similar people that wanted to ride and compete, and those are the kind of places where you notice your level will go up dramatically. You can actually go, and by the end of a trip you're like, wow, I learnt 2 or 3 new tricks and did this, and I think that's what really helped get me started in the beginning.
En Viajando con el Viento, seguimos al equipo de Duotone Kiteboarding en una nueva aventura en Puerto Rico. La isla definitivamente no decepciona cuando se trata de playas de ensueño.
Before we start this episode, we need to rewind things and go back to this time last year in Siberia. The same crew was exploring the deepest lake in the world, Lake Baikal. The spot was insane, as good as it gets, but getting sessions was a mission, and the crew was starting to get tired and slightly malnourished. This made Craig reminisce about his trip to Puerto Rico a few months prior. Puerto Rico had it all: luxury living, valet kiting, fat steaks, and Eggs Benedict 17 different ways. Then, disaster struck. Hurricane Maria showed her face with a vengeance and turned PR upside down. Although, it seemed to have brought the community together, and as a whole, the Puerto Rican people came back stronger than ever before. By the time we arrived 10 months later, It was like the natural disaster never happened. But one thing that was prevalent was how happy and friendly the Puerto Ricans were. The crew promptly immersed themselves into the culture. But that's enough rum for these guys. They didn't come to party. Well, at least not yet. They had a job to do, and that was to explore the island for the best kiteboarding spots while spreading shakas and good vibes along the way. So let's see what Stefan, Fran, Noe, Craig, and Aaron got up to on the glorious island of Puerto Rico.
El lugar es único por su cultura y porque la cadena de islas ofrece una gran variedad de spots para todos los gustos. Desde el agua plana hasta las olas, Aaron Hadlow, Stefan Spitzberger, Noé Font, Francesca Bagnoli y Craig Cunningham hicieron todo lo posible para exprimir al máximo lo que esta isla tenía para ofrecer.
I've actually really wanted to come to Puerto Rico since my first years in kiteboarding. I actually heard so much about it. I was really excited to come for the first time, and it's just crazy that it took me so long to finally get here.
You never really check a forecast here. You just wake up in the morning, have breakfast, and you see the wind picking up, and you don't have to worry about getting on the water at all. You'll be able to kite every single day here.
Beauty does wave on my screen. Asleep all day.
Spots here in Puerto Rico are really good and they're really vast. There's so many different areas you can kiteboard and there's really something for everyone. There's waves right out back here, there's a river mouth just 10 minutes away, and I mean, we've been all over the island.
On my screen. Reason.
You go to all these amazing spots and most of the time you're kiting there by yourself or maybe a couple of other kiters, which is really cool.
And beauty does.
The one I liked the most was the flat water to the mangroves. Mangroves are pretty sick.
And found this amazing flat water spot just behind all these trees. Really unique setup for a kite spot, and it was pretty insane.
When you go to the Caribbean, it's pretty easy to post up on the white sand beach with the turquoise water, rum punch in hand. But if we had done that here, we would have missed out on all that Puerto Rico had to offer.
And beauty does wave on my screen. Asleep all day. And I live by night.
When I was a kid, I used to stare out the car window and pretend that I was flying. There was no car, no road, just me darting in and out of the trees, over the hills, over the streams. Let's just stare out the window for a while.
Hace poco, les mostramos un viaje que realizó F1 durante el 2009. Hoy les traemos el tráiler de una nueva aventura en Madagascar que se estrenará próximamente.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bouch, and welcome to my brand new apartment. Can you imagine? I built that desk myself. It's pretty solid. Yeah, the legs are from IKEA, but the rest, it's from me. Actually, the rest of the apartment is a fucking mess. The only cleaned up place is like the frame you can see right now. But I'm gonna do my best, and in the future I will try to do all my tutorials like straight from that desk into the camera. What are we going to do today? Today I will explain you guys how am I doing a foot switch on my strapless surfboard. The foot switch is a basic maneuver on a directional surfboard, and it's often used after a jibe, for example. Actually, there are loads of riders which can't do a foot switch. You can spot them easily on the beach. Just check out who's going out on his heel side and coming back in on the toe side again. To make sure you come back in on your heel side as well, lean back and follow my tips after the intro.
Ben Beholds nos sigue dando tips para ayudarnos a que podamos seguir progresando con nuestra técnica.
Search for the next cable, grab your surfboard and buy yourself a day ticket. First you have to get used to the feeling and to the pull behind the lift. You're gonna see it's slightly different from kitesurfing. But nowhere else you can understand your directional surfboard better. You will feel every small wave and you can fully focus on your legs because there will be no kite and no gusty wind around. After you got to understand your surfboard a little better, start with your first foot switch attempts. Search for a spot with a long distance between the masts and make sure the spot is not too far from the beach, otherwise you have to swim for ages. As you feel ready, let go one hand from the handle and switch your feet step by step. Always make sure to have the axis of your body weight over the center of the board. Don't get frustrated if you're crashing all the time. It's way harder behind the cable than behind the kite, but it prepares you well for the kite. After spending a few hours on the cable, you are more than ready for the one and only real foot switch. The flat water spot and kites between 8 and 12 square meters gonna make everything easier. After a jibe, for example, you're riding toe side. But before initiating the foot switch, make sure you have a solid ground speed and 100% safe body position on your board. If you don't feel 100% confident in riding toe side, train that first. Steer the kite up to 12 o'clock slowly. Put both hands back to the bar and pull the bar in. The kite is gonna lift you for a few seconds now, and this is when everything goes down. Switch your feet with the center of your body weight over the center of the board. Steer the kite down again and ride away. The key of that movement is your body position over the board. If you have too much weight on the back of the board is gonna flip to the front. And if you have too much weight on the front, you're gonna nosedive. After you nailed that trick to one side, start doing it to the other side as well. Later you're gonna need both of them anyways. And by the way, I've just launched a Facebook group called Bouch Kitesurf Tutorials. Link is in the description. Subscribe to the community and help others to increase their level. Or let the community help you to increase your level. You can simply upload a picture, ask a question, or upload a video and we can analyze it together. Yeah, I hope I see you there soon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like if you learned something new, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks a lot and peace!
En el clip del día, te seguimos mostrando los videos que nos llaman la atención. Durante el frío invierno inglés, a Tom Kurt no se le ocurrió mejor idea que intentar kitear con un traje de dinosaurio, similar a los que aparecen en los videos de las redes sociales. No se lo pierdan en el clip del día.
Shimmy, yeah, you shimmy. We look like birds, you may have guessed. We lay eggs inside a nest. We've got feathers, so we stay well dressed.
I'm the king of the dinos, even I'm impressed.
Long, strong legs with lots of power. Running 24 miles per hour. We don't want to eat that power. Give us meat and we'll devour. Velociraptors, velocirapping. When we run up, who knows what'll happen? Velociraptors. flowers, velocirapting. Don't get too close or teeth will start snapping. Why are you wearing all those flowers? So they don't eat me. Good idea. I wonder if there are friendly dinosaurs. That one looks pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, check out my horse. 1, 2, 3, check out my horse.
I'm a triceratops, all up in this place. Triceratops means 3-horned face. What do I use them for? Scientists debate, maybe for defense or to find a mate. But I love my horns, 3 up on my grill. I'm also really special because I have a frill.
A frill?
Yeah, frill. You heard what I said. It's a plate of bone on top of my head.
Cool.
Sorta looks like a crown. I'm a king of a kind.
Hey, I'm the king of the dinos and I'm hungry.
Never mind. The T-Rex would eat me if he had the chance, but I'm a herbivore. I only eat plants, got hundreds of teeth. To chew my veggie food, got a small ponytail, but I'm a big dude.
Never! Never! Try that, ever. That was the worst idea ever. It's like wrapping yourself in a plastic bag and going kitesurfing.
And my neck's so strong, I can bounce my head up and down while I'm rapping my song. What's up? I'm in the Patasaurus, and I'm the biggest thing in this whole forest. Got a long, 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 long neck, don't get it twisted. I'm one of the biggest animals that ever existed. When I walk, it sounds like thunder. Is there anyone bigger than me? I wonder. T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor. Get close. That's right, I'm the biggest.
Zona Kite es tu zona. Vos también sos protagonista de nuestro programa. Mandanos tus fotos y videos a info@zonakite.com para compartirlas en nuestras redes sociales. Esto es todo por hoy. Los esperamos en la próxima edición de Zona Kite.